When I started the semester in my exceptional education class, I was really excited to start my service hours. I'd never been in a class that required me to participate in volunteer work, and I had a million ideas of the kind of work that I could do. At the end of September, I still hadn't heard from anyone. It's only September, I thought, but when September became October and October became November, my excitement to help my community turned into, oh my goodness, I just want to get these hours done. Finally, I got an email from Second Home. I did some research on their website, finding that Second Home is a daycare center that was created to meet the critical needs of children from the most impoverished neighborhoods in Harrisonburg, Virginia. On my first day, I stepped into a world of chaos and Legos. Second Home is right near the downtown area, behind a pretty white church called Muhlenberg Lutheran Church. The first thing I saw when I walked into the building was a large gymnasium area, where at least 20 kids were doing homework, playing with basketballs, and eating snacks. The best way I can describe this atmosphere is organized chaos. I've worked with kids a lot in the past, but I can admit that I was very overwhelmed. The kids ranged from preschool to middle school age, and each class had a teacher in charge of making sure they finished all their homework. What intimidated me the most was seeing how effectively the teachers were able to handle all the craziness. I waited a few minutes for instructions, but then realized no one was going to tell me what to do. So I knelt down next to a couple younger kids who were sipping on their apple juice boxes and asked them how their day had been. The only response I got was, "I love apple juice," from a little boy who was sipping furiously on his apple juice straw. One day, a teacher asked me to sit with some kindergartners and help them with reading worksheets. I explained the directions to each child. You had to cut out a few words from the bottom of the sheet, and if a word ended in AT, you had to glue the word into a box at the top of the page. 3 out of 4 kids got right to it, but one little boy decided to scream, "I need help," every few seconds. But when I tried to help him, I just realized he was trying to distract the other kids. In class, I remembered reading passages from our book about reinforcement. So whenever the little boy would call out, I would look at him and say, "Don't yell, and say please." I had to do this for about 15 minutes before he finally broke down and started saying please. The shouting didn't stop, but at least he was being polite, right? After this encounter, I started to think about the uniqueness of each child. In class, we constantly stress how no case of any disability or impairment is the same. Overall, the group of kids I've been working with had done a great job of finishing their worksheets. But the one little boy who had been yelling out just needed me to explain the worksheet in a different way. I figured out that the way to get him to do his work was just to make the worksheet more fun. So every time he got an answer right, I'd high-five him and cheer and make a huge deal about his accomplishment. This made him more motivated to get the rest of the worksheet finished correctly. What I love most about this place is the love between the teachers and the kids. The caring atmosphere the teachers create give the kids a standard of respect and positivity that easily rubs off on the volunteers. I didn't realize how much my time in Second Home had affected me until my second to last day of volunteering. I had already said goodbye to the kids and was heading towards the door when one of the little boys I'd been working with ran up behind me and hugged me, asking me if I could come back tomorrow. Kids are a lot of things. They can be loud and messy, they can be crazy and silly, but that's what makes working with them so much fun. And throughout the chaos, these kids never failed to make me smile. They were doing so much for me that I hadn't even realized I was doing anything for them. This experience taught me how to be open. In my future, in my relationships, in my profession, being open is the only way to truly experience new adventures. The knowledge I gained from this exceptional education course, along with the time I spent at Second Home, has completely reshaped my mindset on those with disabilities. A disability is something to be embraced, not shamed. With the proper tools and amount of optimism, those with big dreams will not only reach for the stars, but catch them as well. The key to a project like this is attitude. You have to be excited about giving your time to others. You have to enjoy your experience and not just expect it to change you. I learned that sometimes your good ideas aren't as good as you think they are, and that that's okay. While reading a story to one little kid, I decided it would be funny if I used funny voices for the different characters to make the story more entertaining. After the first few pages, though, I realized that the kid was staring at me like I was insane. Although I probably would have enjoyed voices if someone was reading the story to me, I had to accept that this child was probably too old for voices and would benefit more if I just read the story straight through. When someone doesn't agree with us, we have to be open to changing our mindset. As for me, this journey made me realize that I was moving through life way too quickly. What I was expecting to be an easy 10 hours ended up being 10 of the most memorable hours I've spent at JMU so far. The kids at Second Home laugh at the smallest things and smile at the moments most of us probably don't even notice. Second Home reminded me how to live like a kid, and if anything, 10 hours was definitely not enough.